Hello and a very warm welcome. Thank you, Beenal, for joining in. Am I visible?
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Beenal. Am I was it visible?
Yes, your voice is audible.
Okay. I am audible and am I visible?
Yes,
Ab
now
ho.
you're visible.
All right. So there is some glitch that is happening, but yeah. Anyway, thank you for
Yes,
joining in. And today we are starting off with understanding, setting up the game so that we can win. But since you're joining in for the first time, let me share with you what we have read so far in chapter number 16. Here, Tony Robbins teaches us that our rules are like invisible checklists that determines when we allow ourselves to feel happy, loved, or successful. Most people struggle because their rules to be happy are uh, too high and their rules to be sad are too low. Their rules are absolutely rigid, almost impossible to meet when they think कि मैं खुश तब होंगी तब जब kind of a thing. हमारे जो rules हैं वो बहुत ज्यादा contradictory भी हैं, which creates a lot of confusion. या फिर third thing that happens is that our rules are dependent on others. कि कोई और मुझको ऐसा सोचेगा या देखेगा, then only I'm going to feel this certain way. Okay,
true.
right. We explored how we act as our own judge and jury in yesterday's session, often making it impossible to win in life. Judge and jury हम कैसे बनते हैं? When we think about कि, for example, मैं खुश तब होंगी जब मेरे पास XYZ होगा. But is that really true? Are the kind of questions that we need to ask ourselves. हम अपने आप को हर टाइम, as much as we are judging others, we are judging ourselves as well. We do not give ourselves the permission to enjoy life, to be happy. I gave an example of a couple who goes to small places and they enjoy. They will go to a nearby park and they will enjoy. And there is another couple who will wait so that their trip is absolutely phenomenal, wherein they will go to Switzerland, enjoy the snow and XYZ. Who is going to be happier in life? The one who chooses smaller happiness, isn't it? Happiness and fulfillment comes only when our rules are empowering, flexible, and within our control. And most often, हमारे जो rules होते हैं, they are impossible to be met. इतना 1 करोड़ रुपया होगा, 10 लाख, 10-15 लाख करोड़ रुपए मेरे अकाउंट में होंगे, तभी मैं हैप्पी होने वाली, तभी आई एम गोइंग टू फील अबंडेंट. इज दैट ट्रू? टुडे इन द मॉर्निंग क्लब व्हेन आई वाज टॉकिंग ऑन दिस, तो मुझे ये भी आया दिमाग में कि हमारे पास तो अनलिमिटेड फिलहाल के लिए एज इट सीम्स ब्रेथ्स है. isn't that abundant? There is something that we can think on. Okay, that is what we have read so far, and today we will be diving into the next paragraph of this, wherein we are understanding setting up the game so that we can win. What do we need to do? Let me very quickly start sharing the screen so that we can read together. Is the screen visible to you? Set up the game so you can win. In the last chapter, we devoted a great deal of time in setting up values. But as I have already stated, if you don't make the rules achievable, you will never feel like those values are being met. When I first started to develop my idea on designing destiny, I had only the concept of values and not rules. So, whether or not a person felt like they were on track was completely arbitrary. The day I discovered rules, I began to understand the source of pain and pleasure in my experience. I understood that rules are the triggering devices of human emotion and began to evaluate how I could use rules more effectively. As I have mentioned before, it quickly became clear to me that the majority of people are wired for pain. Their rules make it very, very difficult to feel good and very easy to feel bad. Let me give you a powerful example. Here are the values of a woman we will call Laurie, who attended one of my earliest Date with Destiny seminars. Laurie's old moving towards values were love, wealth, security, freedom, success, acceptance, excellence, harmony, respect, integrity, honesty, and fun. At first glance, these values look wonderful, don't they? You would think that this person is probably loving and healthy and freedom oriented. With a closer look, though, we can already see a few challenges. Laurie's third value is security, and her fourth value is freedom. Do you those two sound like they go well together? The reality was that this woman was wired so massive pain. She was frustrated in every sense of the word and was literally becoming a recluse, hiding out from people. No therapist she could visit it, huh, could figure out why. They were all working on her behavior, her fears, and her emotions instead of looking at the way her master system of evaluating every event and experience of her life was void. So I began to elicit her rules for each of these values. What has to happen in order for her to feel XYZ? फॉर एग्जाम्पल उन्होंने पहले लव पूछा होगा फिर हेल्थ पूछा होगा बिकॉज वी ऑल हैव अवर ओन डेफिनेशन ऑफ हाउ वी फील लव्ड हाउ वी फील हेल्थी हाउ वी फील सिक्योर हमारे को फ्रीडम का क्या मतलब है हाउ व्हाट हैज टू हैपन इन आवर लाइफ सो दैट वी फील द XYZ emotion. For her to feel love, her answer was, I have to feel like I have earned it. I have to feel like all my beliefs are accepted and approved of by every person I meet. I can't feel like I have loved unless instantly we began to see the problem. Love was the highest value on her list. The greatest source of pleasure she could possibly feel in her body. Yet her rules did not allow her to give herself this pleasure unless she met these complex criteria, which I could not control if any of us made our ability to feel loved dependent on everyone accepting our views. We would not feel love very often, would we? Give me a second. Give me a second. Sorry about that. So where were we? How do we know if oh, how do we know if a rule empowers or disempowers us? There are three primary criteria. Before we go on the three primary criteria, this is something that has happened today in the morning only. I was talking to my daughter, and I was asking, she said, "कि क्या कर रहे हो आजकल? What is it that is happening in your coaching and XYZ?" So I was telling her about these rules. And then I also asked her, what are the rules that you live by? Because ये कल हम discuss कर रहे थे. And there were things that she said. And she said that कि हाँ मुझको लगता है कि ये rule से मैं live by कर रही हूँ, but it is actually keeping me stuck. हमारी लाइफ में देर आर मल्टीपल रूल्स बिकॉज ऑफ विच हम आगे प्रोग्रेस ही नहीं कर पाते हैं. यस
That
एंड
means we are more rigid kind of thing. We are not opening up.
हाँ, वी आर नॉट ओपनिंग अप इनफैक्ट. सो अगर आप कहते हो कि मुझको आई हैव टू लुक अ सर्टेन वे फॉर माई सेल्फ टू लुक ब्यूटिफुल, that will keep you into a loop कि wherein you will say कि यार मैं एक certain XYZ way में रहूंगी तभी मैं अच्छी लगूंगी. अगर मैं सर्टेन वेट की होंगी तभी मैं हेल्थी होंगी, तभी मैं फिट होंगी. हम लोगों के रूल्स इतने रिजिड हैं, इतने स्टबर्न है, इतने वो है कि हमको बहुत. सो दैट इज व्हाट आई टोल्ड हर एज वेल कि बेटे, what you need to do is make your rules of being happy really low, set them really low. भाई तेरे को आज खाने को मिल गया, be very happy. आज तुझको जॉब मिल गई, very happy. Dance over it, enjoy it. तुझको इंटरव्यू के लिए कॉल आ गई, enjoy it. When you start enjoying, you will see things will work for you multiple times. और जल्दी फास्टर आपके लिए काम करना शुरू हो जाएंगे चीज. बट प्रॉब्लम हमारी, हम लोगों के अंदर ग्रेटिट्यूड की भी प्रॉब्लम इसीलिए है बिकॉज हमको जो चीजें हमारे हिसाब से नहीं होती हैं, हमारे को वो अच्छी लगती ही नहीं है. हमारी जो नीड्स हैं दे आर इम्पॉसिबल टू मीट. वी डू नॉट हम वी टेक थिंग्स सो मच फॉर ग्रांटेड. मेरे हस्बैंड ने मेरे को चाय का कप पूछ लिया, आई विल नॉट थिंक अबाउट दैट, बट my husband loves me only if he talks to me respectfully, he agrees with what I say. जरूरी है क्या? We all have different master system. हम सबके अलग beliefs हैं. We come from different backgrounds. We have different belief systems, different values. How can two people be exactly the same? How can everybody agree with you? The book that we read, जिसके अंदर था Courage to be Disliked, it talked so extensively about it is okay for not having the same viewpoint at all times. Okay, Binal, I understand that you're at work and you cannot talk, but I am looking forward to your insights on whatever we are reading in the chat. Okay.
Definitely, definitely. Wherever possible, I will speak. And camera issues is there, but I would have loved to, interact live.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. How do we know if a rule empowers or disempowers us? There are three primary criteria. It is a disempowering rule if it is impossible to meet. If your criteria are so complex or varied or intense that you can't ever win the game of life, clearly you have a disempowering rule. Number two, a rule is disempowering if something that you can't control determines whether your rule has been met or not. For example, if other people have to respond to you in a certain way, or if the environment has to be a certain way, you clearly have a disempowering rule. A classic example of this is the people waiting to view the eclipse who couldn't be happy unless the weather, something they could not control, acted according to their specific expectations. This was an example that was given earlier in this chapter, wherein एक eclipse को देखने के लिए people had spent thousands of dollars to book tickets to be at a certain place. और lunar eclipse solar eclipse था, and solar eclipse से पहले अचानक से clouds आ गए and the sun got hit by the clouds and they felt कि अरे यार ये क्या हो गया, we have spent so much of money and this is what has happened. And there were certain people who were so happy जैसे ही थोड़े से क्लाउड्स हटे एंड सन दिखना शुरू हुआ एंड हाउ द एक्लिप्स वाज हैपनिंग, दे कुड सी द विजिबल चेंजेस. So it depends on our rules, how we are interpreting anything in our life. Number 3 is a rule is disempowering if it gives you only a few ways to feel good and lots of ways to feel bad. Laurie had managed to meet all three of these approved by people. Oh, sorry. All three of these criterias for disempowering rules, hadn't she? Having to feel that all her beliefs were accepted and approved by people was an impossible criteria. It required the outside environment, something she could not control, other people's opinions, to make her feel good. It provided lots of ways to feel bad and provided no clear way to feel good. Here is the same of the rest of her rules for her value hierarchy. Laurie's old moving towards values and rules. Love, I have to feel like I have earned it, like all my beliefs are accepted and approved. I can't feel like I am loved unless I am perfect. I have to be a great mother and wife. आपको लगता है ये empowering होगा? Oh my God. First of all, love is not to be earned. We are born lovable. हमारी लाइफ में कई कई चीजें ऐसी होती हैं जिसकी वजह से वी स्टार्ट बिलीविंग कि हमारे को लव को अर्न करना पड़ेगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर आपने कुछ अच्छा कर दिया, योर पेरेंट्स विल हग यू, किस यू एंड टेल यू वाओ यू आर सच अ गुड चाइल्ड, एंड अदरवाइज दे विल स्टे डिस्टेंट फ्रॉम यू. जब ऐसा होता है और कोई गलती कर देते हो तो बहुत तेज की फड़क पड़ जाती है. व्हाट हैपेंस? बच्चे को लगता है कि अगर मुझको एक हग और किस चाहिए और एप्रिसिएशन चाहिए तो आई नीड टू डू समथिंग गुड. एंड व्हेन दैट हैपेंस, देयर इज अ बिलीफ सिस्टम दैट इज बीइंग क्रिएटेड इन दैट पर्सन्स माइंड कि मैं ऐसा करूंगी तभी मुझे प्यार. इज दैट राइट? Isn't it such a stuck situation? How about loving the kids any which ways? Unconditional love is absolutely missing. Unconditional love मुझे पता भी नहीं है होता है कि नहीं होता है, पर सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम, सो द प्रॉब्लम हियर लाइज हियर. किचन में से क्लिक करके आवाज आई. आप भागे भागे क्या देखने जाते हो? बच्चा ठीक है कि ग्लास ठीक है?
Glass, of course.
So that is the problem. When I learned this concept, I made a deliberate choice. I don't care about what has happened to the glass. I will always make a choice to ask my child whether you are okay or not. Problem is, जब कोई गलती किसी भी इंसान से होता है, whether it is us or it is the kids or it is XYZ, that person is already guilty. And when we go and we question that person about the thing, the materialistic thing, they become even more guilty. Wherein at that time, they need the love and acceptance the most. That is something that you can think and reflect on. Health. I have to feel like my diet is perfect by my strict standards. मैंने डिसाइड किया, मेरी हेल्थ न्यूट्रिशनिस्ट ने बोल दिया कि मुझको 250 ग्राम्स ऑफ पनीर खाना है और आज मैंने 280 ग्राम्स खा लिया, इसलिए मैं दुखी हूँ क्योंकि मेरे को मजा आ रहा था खाने में, मैंने खा लिया, अब मैं अनहेल्दी हो गई. I have to be completely free of physical pain. I must feel like I'm healthier than everyone I know and be an example. Is that possible? नॉट रियली। कहीं ना कोई आपसे बेटर होगा। टुडे इन द मॉर्निंग व्हेन आई वाज टॉकिंग टू माय डॉटर, शी रिवील्ड टू मी कि एक बात बताओ, मुझको लगता है जेलेसी इज समथिंग दैट इज इन मी एवर सिंस आई वाज अ लिटिल गर्ल। एंड आई वाज लाइक, क्यों, क्या हुआ था, कैसा हुआ था, क्या क्या बातें हुई थी ऐसी। एंड वी वर टॉकिंग ऑन दैट एंड शी सेड कि मुझको हमेशा ऐसा लगता था कि अगर मेरा उससे अच्छे कपड़े नहीं है तो दैट मीन्स आई एम नॉट लुकिंग गुड। Is that true? I asked her. And then she's like, नहीं ऐसा था तो नहीं, because I used to be looking good. I was wearing the kind of clothes that made me feel comfortable and I would feel prettier. अब उसका complexion कुछ अलग है. She was fairer than me and because of which I was feeling inferior. Was that right in any case? No, it was not, right? आपको भगवान ने जैसा बनाया, you should be first accepting that. Instead of comparing yourself with anybody else, we need to start comparing ourselves with ourselves. कि मैं yesterday कैसी थी और आज कैसी हूँ. Let us not make rules beyond ourselves. किसी और के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट जब जब हम रहेंगे कि वो ऐसा होगा और मैं उससे बेटर लग रही होंगी, तो इट इज गोइंग टू बी अ कॉज ऑफ पेन एंड अनहैप्पीनेस. Security. Everyone must like me. I must feel that everyone I meet is certain I'm a good person. I must be certain that there will be no nuclear war. I must have much more money in my saving account than I already do. ऐसा हो सकता है कभी कि आपको सब इक्वली प्यार करते हो, किसी के दिल में कोई कोल्ड वार ना चल रही हो आपके अगेंस्ट, किसी के साथ हर इंसान जो आप मिलते हो उसको लग रहा हो कि आप अच्छे ही हो. That is not possible and you should make peace with it. You people are going to come and they are going to leave from your life. You need to set rules that makes you happier. जो मेरे साथ है वो मुझसे प्यार करता है, मे बी और मे बी नॉट. आई शुड फील हैप्पी विदाउट जजिंग वेदर अदर्स लव मी और नॉट. हम लोग जज कर रहे हैं कि सामने वाले को मैं जो there are multiple times when what we do is we say something that our heart does not agree with, but we are saying it to be politically correct. Why? Those kind of people become people pleasers. जिसकी ऐसी सिक्योरिटी वाला सिस्टम होगा, वो तो इंसान कभी फ्रीडम फील ही नहीं कर सकता. अगर उसकी वैल्यू भी अगर फ्रीडम होगी तो भी ही कैन नॉट फील फ्रीडम. व्हाई? बिकॉज ही इज नॉट लिविंग बाय इट. ही दे आर नॉट इवन थिंकिंग ऑफ इट. यस. फ्रीडम में वो कहती है कि आई मस्ट बी इन कंट्रोल ऑफ माई वर्किंग डिमांड्स, आवर्स, फीस, ओपिनियंस एक्सेट्रा. आई मस्ट बी फाइनेंशियली सिक्योर इनफ नॉट टू लिव अंडर स्ट्रेस और फाइनेंशियली रिलेटेड प्रेशर. और इसकी लाइफ में प्रॉब्लम इसलिए आई होगी क्योंकि सिक्योरिटी एंड फ्रीडम एक साथ डाला है. फाइनेंशियली रिलेटेड प्रेशर्स नहीं उसको स्ट्रेस में, शी डज नॉट वांट टू बी अंडर स्ट्रेस. एंड एट द सेम टाइम शी इज अ पीपल प्लीजर. शी हैज अनदर काइंड ऑफ रूल्स. माइंड में काफी चीजें होती हैं, एब्सोल्युटली माइंड में बहुत सारी चीजें होती है, बट नाउ वी हैव द पावर टू चेंज अवर थॉट्स. हमारे बिलीफ्स कहाँ से ओरिजिनेट होते हैं? फ्रॉम अवर थॉट्स. जैसा हमारा थॉट सिस्टम बार बार रिपीट करेगा, इट बिकम्स अ बिलीफ. एंड वी हैव अ चॉइस टू चूज अवर थॉट्स. How likely do you think it is that Laurie will meet one of her values, much less any? What about her rules for health? I have to feel like my diet is perfect by my strict standards. She was not only a vegetarian but ate only raw food and she still didn't feel perfect. What are your chances of being healthier than everyone you know? Not much, unless you hang out with an intensive care, out in the intensive care unit. कोई ना कोई आपसे बेटर होने ही वाला है. Are you going to beat yourself up for that? हाय हाय, अभी भी बेटर करना है, अभी भी करना है, अभी भी करना है. Very difficult. Laurie's old moving away from values and rules. So there are two kind of values. One is moving towards and the other is moving away values. We have discussed on this in our last chapter. And uski moving away values. So moving away values are the ones, ऐसे emotions जिससे आप दूर जाना चाहते हो, and moving towards values are the ones that you want to feel more often. ठीक है? तो now लॉरी की जो number one moving away value था, that was rejection. I feel rejected if someone does not share my beliefs. If someone seemingly knows more than I do. अभी ये possible है क्या you know everything in the world? Somebody would know something much more than you. We are two people in this room. Karishma would know something more than Binal, and Binal would know something definitely more than Karishma. So does that make me feel rejected? Or Binal feel rejected? No, that is not right. Maybe she needs to change the हो सकता है rejection feel करना, she does not want to feel rejected, but her definition, her rule for feeling rejected has to change. Failure नहीं feel करना चाहती है. I feel failure if someone doesn't believe I'm a good person. I feel failure if I don't feel I support myself or my family well enough. Or anger. I feel anger when I don't feel like what I do is appreciated. When people judge me before they know me. Just think about it. How और सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम आती है जब मूविंग टुवर्ड्स एंड मूविंग अवे वैल्यूज कॉन्ट्रडिक्ट कर जाती है. एक तरफ से आप चाह रहे हो कि मैं खुश तब होंगी जब मेरे को सब प्यार करेंगे, मुझको सब अप्रिशिएट करेंगे, और दूसरी तरफ से आप उस चीज से दूर भाग रहे हो कि अगर मेरे को कोई अप्रिशिएट नहीं करेगा तो मुझको बहुत ज्यादा गुस्सा आ जाएगा. नाउ व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, यू आर फाइटिंग अ टग ऑफ वार. तो उसकी वजह से आप एकदम न्यूट्रल उसके अंदर रह जाते हो, या दुखी 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 रहने शुरू हो जाते हो, कभी सुखी सुख खुश 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 रह जाते हो. यू विल नेवर बी इन वन स्टेट. यू विल कीप ऑन फाइटिंग on your own belief systems. Always. These moving away from rules are equally immobilizing. Notice how easy it is to feel bad and how hard it is to feel good. मूविंग टुवर्ड्स वैल्यूज इतनी सारी थी, मूविंग अवे वैल्यूज इतनी थोड़ी सी हैं और जल्दी जल्दी आने वाली हैं. If all it takes for her to feel rejected is someone not sharing her beliefs, then she is in for a lot of headache. और headache होगा तो she feel unhealthy. And what are the chances in your life of having people judge you before they know you? It takes time to know people. इस रूम में आते ही you would have judged me some way. अच्छा, ऐसा क्या? So true. Why do we feel more bad again? Why? Because we have set our standards to feel bad really low. मतलब कि बहुत छोटा छोटा कुछ होना पड़ता है ताकि आप you start feeling bad. And you have to attain much levels of standards to feel happier. अगर मैं इसी चीज के लिए बल्ले बल्ले करने शुरू कर दूं कि आज मेरे रूम में एक बंदा आया टू लिसन टू मी, टू रीड विद मी, that can be I can be happy about that. And I can be sad about it कि कल तो 15 लोग थे, आज तो सिर्फ एक ही आया, ये क्या हो गया मेरे साथ. Now it is a choice that I make, right? And I cannot tell myself कि since yesterday I had 4, 5, 7, 10 people, I need to have 10 people every single day for me to feel happy about it. It does not work that way. I really should. Thank you so much. Only about 100%. अरे कहाँ गया, हम कहाँ पे थे? If all it takes for her to feel rejected is someone not sharing her beliefs, then she is in for a headache. And what are the chances in your life of having people judge you before they know you? Only about 100%. With these rules, can you imagine what it would be like to live in her body? She was racked with pain And one of her biggest sources, if you look at her rules, was people. Anytime she was around people, she was risking the possibility they might not share her beliefs, or might not like her, or might judge her. Or तीनों cases में she will feel unhappy. So what will she do? She will lock herself up in the room, and then she will be not judged, she will not be unliked, and she will not have anybody who would not share the same beliefs. No wonder she was hiding out. At one point, I finally said, it's my guess that a person with values and rules like this would develop an ulcer. She said, I already have one. Though हम evening में जो book पढ़ रहे हैं ना, You Can Heal Your Life, that talks about how stuck emotions and the belief systems like these create problems in our lives. And this is what has come up here as well, कि अगर इंसान की ऐसी belief systems होंगे, ऐसे rules for life होंगे, तो he is going to develop ulcer. And this lady, she agreed that she already had one. Laurie's experience, unfortunately, is not unique. Certainly, some of her rules are more intense than others. But you will be absolutely surprised when you find out how unfair your own rules are when you begin to scrutinize them. At Date with Destiny, we attract some of the most successful people in the country. People whose level of skills and influence in the culture is unmatched. And yet, while they are successful on the outside, many are lacking the happiness and fulfillment they deserve. Invariably, it's because of the values conflict or inappropriate rules. Thank you so much, Beenal. I love reading and understanding. That means a lot. अब ये प्रॉब्लम अगर आ जाए हमारी लाइफ में, तो व्हाट इज द सॉल्यूशन इज समथिंग दैट वी रियली रियली नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड, डजंट इट? कि अगर हमारी लाइफ में हमारी वैल्यूज, हमारे रूल्स और हमारे बिलीफ सिस्टम की हायरार्की खराब हो, तो व्हाट डू वी नीड टू डू? द सॉल्यूशन इज वेरी सिंपल. All we have to do is make our lives work in set up a system of evaluating that includes rules that are achievable, that make it easy to feel good and hard to feel bad, that constantly pull us in the direction we want to go. Have you ever heard कि जब हम rules goal setting करते हैं, तो they say कि set goals and then split the goal into small action steps, because it becomes so much easier for you to achieve them when you set smaller goals. And when you set smaller goals, you achieve them, you gain momentum and confidence कि हम इसको continue कर सकते हैं. It gives you another level of happiness. And when you work with a happier mind, things get accomplished even more quickly. That is the reason. Certainly, it is useful to have some rules that give us pain. We need to have limits. We need to have some kind of pressure that drives us. I can't taste fresh orange juice unless I have a glass. Something which limits to contain the juice. We all have limits, both as a society and as individuals. For starters, though, we should at least rewire ourselves so we can experience pleasure more consistently in life. When people are feeling good at all times, they tend to treat others better and they tend to maximize their potential as human beings. So, what's our goal? Once we design our values, we must decide what evidence we need to have before we give ourselves the pleasure. We need to design rules that will move us in the direction of our values, that will clearly be achievable. Using criteria we can control personally so that we are ringing the bell instead of waiting for the outside world to do so. how to feel good at all times. It is impossible to feel good at all times. But if you set your standard to feel good really low, then you can. You achieve some small step, you celebrate it. Why do they say कि at all the times you should make sure कि आपने छोटा 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 celebrate your wins every single day? Have you heard of it? When you celebrate your wins, uh, in my personal this thing, I also tell people to write their wins for every single day. Agar First of all, when you write three things that you need to accomplish every day, and then you write at the end of the day five wins of the day. अगर आपने वो चीजें accomplish नहीं भी करी हैं, and you deliberately think of what good has happened to you every single day, it will give you a reason to feel good. And you will start the next day more as a promising day rather than feeling like a failure. The moment your values are not met, when your belief systems are not met, when your rules are not being met, you feel like a failure. You feel unworthy. But अगर आपको आपके चीजें इस तरीके से डिफाइंड हो, that is dependent solely on you, it will help you to feel happier. अगर आप और लोगों के ऊपर डिपेंड करते हो अपनी हैप्पीनेस के लिए, इफ XYZ person loves me, then only I am going to feel loved. It is not going to happen, my darling. You are going to keep on waiting all your life for one person to love you. And if that person is busy somewhere else, who is at loss? हमारी लाइफ में there are so many people who love us, who appreciate us. But if you keep on waiting for XYZ person to love you and appreciate you, you are going to be in the waiting list all your life. Instead, enjoy and celebrate the love that others are giving you, the appreciation that others are giving you. Rather, instead of, in fact, even seeking from outside world, start doing it for yourself. Louise says the first and the most important thing that you need to understand is that you need to love yourself. When you start filling your own bucket with the love, with the things that you can appreciate about yourself, your worthiness, you will see you will be a happier person. How many times do you wake up in the morning, look into your eyes and appreciate yourself? Mostly log, especially women, when they look at themselves in the mirror, they
Never
look
did.
for under eyes में dark circle हो गए हैं. Oh my God, I have wrinkles, I have gray hair. This is what we look for. Why not the beauty in those twinkling eyes? Why not the beauty in that smile? When you start finding joy and happiness in smaller things in life, when you start living in now, you will feel much happy. मुझे ये बताओ कि wherever you are sitting right now, why are you happy? Why should you be happy? Because of job. Absolutely. And now if you do not celebrate that, and आप उल्टा बोलो कि यार मेरे को सुबह उठना पड़ा, उसकी वजह से मेरे को आना पड़ा, it is all past. Right now, it is a moment of celebration. You can be happy because you have a job, because money is coming in, because breath we are taking. I am alive. I will go back home. वो भी फ्यूचर हो जाएगा. But right now, अभी तो मैं जिंदा हूँ, मेरे को अच्छा लग रहा है. I'm doing my job. I'm earning money. I'm also attending this, this session. I can invest as well. I am supporting my family. Absolutely, in this moment, whatever is happening is something to celebrate. जब जब हम अपने या पास्ट या फ्यूचर में जाके सोचना शुरू करते हैं, लिव करना शुरू करते हैं, some misery happens. Totally happy, happy attending this session in break time. Amazing. You would be having your lunch hour, right? Right? Based on these requirements, Laurie changed the order of some of her values and completely changed her values for achieving them. Here is her new values and rules. New values थी love. I experience love anytime I express love. Give love to others and allow myself to receive it. Such a beautiful way. जब मैं किसी से प्यार करूंगी, I will feel loved. अगर मैं इंतजार ही करती रहूंगी कि कोई मुझे प्यार करेगा तो पे क्या वेटिंग लिस्ट हो गई. But हाँ, how beautiful it would be if when I love somebody, I feel even more loved. And it actually comes back multifolds में. Health. I am healthy when I acknowledge how wonderful I feel every day. I already feel. Fun. I am having fun when I find pleasure and joy in the process. Gratitude. I feel grateful when I appreciate all the things I have in my life right now. And freedom. I feel free when I live by my convictions and accept the choice to create happiness for myself. Notice that fun is now a priority. पहले last था list में. This transformed her experience of life, not to mention her relationship with her daughter and husband. But even more powerful were the changes she made in her rules. Changing the value would have limited impact if the rules were unachievable. What has this woman done? She has rewired her entire life so that she is in control. You and I need to remember that our self-esteem is tied to our ability to feel like we are in control of the events in our life, in our environment. These rules allow Laurie to always be in control without even trying. Yesterday as well, I was sharing that हम लोगों की लाइफ में क्या होता है, यहाँ पे दिल्ली में, आई एम फ्रॉम दिल्ली, एंड दिल्ली में विंटर्स में बड़ी ठंड होती है एंड समर्स में बहुत गर्मी होती है. सो माय डॉटर, शी वाज टेलिंग मी, मम्मी बहुत ठंड है, बहुत ठंड है ना. एंड आई टोल्ड हर कि यार एक काम करते हैं, दिस इज हाउ वी चेंज अवर थिंकिंग पैटर्न. लेट्स वेयर अ जैकेट, स्टैंड आउटसाइड and open our arms and just think how fresh it is. The moment we did that, both of us, मतलब मेरे को तो I love doing this because if you are covered nicely enough, you enjoy winters. You feel the freshness of, the weather that time. And I asked her to try doing that and tell herself, wow, मौसम कितना fresh है ना, कितना fresh है ना. And she did that, and within अ मिनट और टू, जितनी भी देर जैकेट पुल करने में, उसको पहनने में लगती है और बाहर जाके खड़े होने में लगती है, शी टुक दैट मच टाइम टेलिंग हरसेल्फ वेदर आज बहुत फ्रेश है, लेट्स गो एंड एक्सपीरियंस, देखते हैं होता है नहीं होता. एंड शी वाज शॉक्ड कि हाँ सच्ची में वेदर कितना फ्रेश लग रहा है. एंड आई सेड कि अभी बोल ना कितनी ठंड है, कितनी ठंड है. शी ऑटोमेटिकली स्टार्टेड श्रिंकिंग. हाँ मम्मा ठंड भी है, बहुत ठंड है, क्या फ्रेश फ्रेश कर रहे हो. आई वाज लाइक दिस इज हाउ आवर माइंड प्लेज विद अस. Till we don't change the definition of anything in life, we are not going to enjoy it. जब समर्स में इलेक्ट्रिसिटी गोes, इन्वर्टर खत्म हो जाता है, at that time what do I tell myself? वाह यार, बॉडी क्या सिस्टम है. बॉडी को भगवान ने एयर कंडीशनर जैसा बनाया है. सी, आई एम, कितनी ठंडी ठंडी बॉडी फील हो रही है. वेदर इज गुड and I can sleep. And others in the home, they're like, मम्मी को पता नहीं क्या प्रॉब्लम है, how does she sleep? Because I define my things as per my rules. Because I choose, my rule is to feel happy and happiness and joy at all times. Now, what do I do with that? How do I accomplish that? By changing the definition as per the rule that I have set. अभी ये है तो अभी let me. So the room that I'm sitting in, ये जो pedestrian fan है, that has come here like few months back, but इसके अंदर
ये
AC
पीछे का
नहीं है.
बैकग्राउंड है आपका, so I'm not able to see anything.
अच्छा,
Like you have your own background, right? Karishma, Arora.
that is it is a background that I have created from Canva.
Yeah. So you're sharing something, so I'm not able to see that because of that. And
Acha,
beautiful background, by the way. The
thank you.
image you have added, it's beautiful.
Mm. Thank you, Meenal. I choose to be happy by changing my definitions for things how I feel. My thoughts need to be aligned with the thing कि I need to feel happy. I can have, I can be very sad. 2 साल हो गए हैं मुझको बुक रीडिंग क्लब चलाते हुए and this is the output of me having only one person listening to me right now. I can be very sad about it, but I choose to enjoy the process, to find joy in the process, because in any case, whether somebody is coming or not coming, I am learning. Let's move forward. Are her new rules for love achievable? You bet. Who is in control? She is. At any moment in time, she can decide to be living to herself and others. And she will now have permission to give herself to emotion, the emotion called love. She will know she is meeting her highest value. How often can she do this? Every single day. There are lots of ways to do it because there are lots of people she can be loving too: herself, her family, her friends, strangers. How about her new rule for health? What's beautiful about it is that not only is she in charge because she can acknowledge how wonderful she feels at any moment, and not only is it achievable, but isn't it true that if she regularly acknowledges feeling good, she will reinforce the pattern of becoming more healthier? In addition, Laurie adopted some new moving away values. She selected emotions she knew she had to avoid including in order to feel success, in order to succeed: negativity and procrastination. Remember, we want to reverse the process of how most of us are wired. We want to make it hard to feel bad and easy to feel good. Laurie's new moving away from values and rules were negativity and procrastination. Negativity का क्या definition था? I avoid consistently depending on the acceptance of others for my ultimate happiness and success. And procrastination, I avoid consistently expecting perfection from myself and others. Can we read this from tomorrow? I will just wind up with this part, and कल हम पढ़ेंगे every upset is a rule upset. Because बीच में छोड़ेंगे तो people who will watch the recording, it will be difficult for them to relate to what we have read today. With Laurie's new moving away rules, she no longer depends upon the acceptance of others. Her rule for procrastination is based on her realization that expecting perfection created pain, and she had not wanted to begin projects that would create pain. So that's why she had been procrastinating. These changes in values and rules have redirected her life to a level beyond anything she could have imagined. Now, here's an assignment for you. Based on the new values you have set up for yourself in the last chapter, create a set of rules for your moving towards values that makes it easy to feel good, and a set of rules for your moving away from values that makes it hard to feel bad. Ideally, create a menu of possibilities with lots of ways to feel good. Okay? So this is an assignment for you as well. Since now you understand what is moving away values and moving towards values, I would love for you to make a list of at least five values which you want to experience and not experience, and set rules for yourself in that. Here are a few of mine. ये टोनी रॉबिन्स का सैंपल है. Please make sure that you are listening to it with all your concentration. A sampling of my moving towards values and rules, health and vitality. Anytime I feel centered, powerful, or balanced. Anytime I do anything that increases my strength, flexibility, or endurance. Anytime I do anything that moves me towards a sense of physical well being. Anytime I eat water, rich foods, or live in accordance with my own health philosophy. Love and warmth. Anytime I am being warm and supportive of my friends, family, or strangers, anytime I focus on how to help, anytime I'm loving towards myself, anytime my state of being enhances how other people feel. Learning and growing. Anytime I make a new distinction that's useful, anytime I stretch myself beyond what was comfortable, anytime I think of a new possibility, anytime I expand and I become more effective, anytime I apply anything I know in a positive way. Achieving. Anytime I focus on the values of my life as already created, anytime I set an outcome and make it happen, anytime I learn anything or create value for myself or others. This is how he has set rules for himself to feel happier. You may say, isn't this just a game? Couldn't I set it up so that I meet my rules for health just by breathing? Certainly, you could base it on something this simple. If you want, you can take a screenshot of what Tony Robbins has said for himself. Because, yes, Pinal, are you saying something to me?
Yes, can you speak it a little bit big so that I can take a sip?
Oh, your voice is cracking. Put it in the chat. Can you make it big? No, I cannot make it big. This is the biggest that it can happen. नहीं हो रहा, मेरा टच स्क्रीन है तभी भी नहीं हो रहा. Take a screenshot and crop it. Certainly, you could base it on something this simple. Ideally, though, you will design your rules so that by pursuing them, you have more of what you want in life. So you also may say, won't I lose my drive to succeed if there is no pain motivation? Trust me, life will give you enough pain on your own if you don't follow through. You don't need to add to it by creating an intense set of rules that makes you feel lousy all the time. In sociology, there is a concept known as ethnocentricity, which means we begin to believe that the rules, values, and beliefs of our culture are the only ones that are valid. This is an extremely limiting mindset. Every person around you has different rules and values than you do, and there are no better or worse than your own. The key question is not whether rules are right or wrong, but whether they empower or disempower you, in fact. Wow, this was really, really powerful. And basic takeaway that I would love for you to remember is that happiness is a game you create. Because आप उसके अंदर rules set कर रहे हो. And set rules that let you win often. Disempowering rules जो होते हैं, they create a lot of suffering. And empowering rules helps you feel the joy, the freedom in life. Focus on progress, effort, and alignment with your values rather than perfection. जब आप perfection को ज़्यादा focus करते हो, तो it becomes very difficult for you to be happy. Whenever you create your rules for life, keep your rules simple, flexible, and self-directed. so that your happiness is not dependent on anyone around you or your environment or your circumstances. Something that I would love for you to reflect on is, are your rules making it easy for you to feel happy and fulfilled? Or they're making you feel life is hard? Or if it is hard, how can you redesign your life today? Binan, no rules made yet. You don't live without rules. Anything and everything that you do are based on the rules that you have made. Subconsciously, consciously, that is a choice. Because there are lots of beliefs that we carry from our childhood. How to make rules. This is what we have discussed in today's session. Make them simple, make them effective, make them self-reliant, self-directed, make them flexible. हमारी life में there is a rule. I don't know, what do you do, Beenan? There could be a rule in your life. So, अगर आपको लगता है कि आपके बच्चे 90, अच्छा, boss is next to me, can't speak. That is a rule. That is a rule. Boss is around me, so I can't speak is a rule that you have made. Oh. So if you say, मेरे बच्चे के 90% आए हैं, मेरे बच्चे के 95% आए हैं, wow, he has done amazingly well. That is a rule in your life that if my child scores 90% and above or 95% and above, I will feel that my child has accomplished something good. Wherein, how things are different. Somebody who passes is celebrating, enjoying because आज तो मैं पास हो गया. मेरे 34 नंबर आ गए 100 में से क्योंकि 33 पासिंग मार्क्स थे and I am dancing with joy and having drums rolled. Wow, I have passed. Why? Because the rule for that person in life was कि पास होना है is the only thing. मेरे को नहीं पता, मेरे तो 20 नंबर आएंगे बट मैं पास हो गया तो बहुत बढ़िया हो जाएगा. That was the rule that person has created. And there is another home wherein 98% आए हैं and this person is crying over shit, 2% कहाँ पे रह गए? And that person is not enjoying the process. That person is making it so difficult for himself to be happy because उसके लिए success and accomplishment was when that person scored 100%. That was a rule that that person had made for himself. If I am earning 10 lakhs per month, then only I am successful. Then only I am abundant. If I'm earning 5,000 a month, I feel abundant. What is your rule for life? Everything we do is defined by that. Do you realize that you are also living by rules, people? Oh. Hmm. So now sit with yourself whenever you get some time and see आप लाइफ में क्या बार बार repeatedly कर रहे हो, because that is the easiest catch to understand. That is the easiest catch to understand कि what are the rules that you are living. ठीक है? All right, Vinal. Thank you for joining in. It was my pleasure to have you in this session today. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy your day and see you tomorrow at 1:15 p.m. You can join with the same link that has been shared today. Where I don't know where are you joining from. But yes, make sure that if you want to read further with us till 30th, that is free as a gift of Navratri. Feel free to join. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy. Bye.